Hey everyone, Dr. Ryan here with Vallejo Health and Wellness, and I'm here with Dr. Aaron Moreland. He's the owner and one of the practitioners here at Vallejo. And Dr. Aaron, I know with the month of August we're doing a special on the labs that we do.
Yep.
And I know going through chiropractic school I had to do a number of blood draws, and I had to have my own blood drawn. And it made me a little apprehensive about getting my blood drawn, and
Yeah, just a bad experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I remember doing the same thing, and I always got to work with this bodybuilder guy. And his veins just popped right out. It was like, okay, I didn't need a tourniquet. It was the easiest thing to find. So, yeah, so it can be a little daunting going to the doctor's office and them saying, hey, we got to draw your blood because you don't know if the technician's good at it. A lot of us don't like needles. I don't have a problem with it, but definitely I know a lot of people that that's something they don't want to have to go through. So,
but why should someone get?
yeah, I think it is critical. As much as you don't want to get your blood drawn,
Yep.
I think it's really critical because again, when you look at how your body's working, a lot of what's going on in your body you don't know about. You can't tell me how your liver's functioning. You can't tell me how your kidneys are working right now. You couldn't tell me how your adrenal glands or your thyroid are working based off of your symptoms unless that organ's failing quite a bit, then you could start having some symptoms, but you don't want to wait until that organ's malfunctioning to the level where you're having symptoms, because you could do a blood test that would determine things a lot earlier. So it's just an early detection, and so a way to see how the body's functioning.
Great. And what differs from the blood labs that we do here versus?
Yeah, I think there's probably a couple of major things that are different. One is what we're testing for. Typically, if you go to your doctor and get a routine physical, they may test some things like your blood sugar, your cholesterol, and some liver enzymes. They may even check your iron levels, but they're probably not going to check your thyroid. They may check white blood cell count and red blood cell count, but they may not do where they break down the differential of them. So it's really important that we look at getting a very thorough blood lab. So if I'm going to test someone's thyroid, I'm not just going to test their TSH, I'm going to test their whole thyroid panel. So the lab that we're encouraging people to get in conjunction with a physical is called an OptiThyroplex, because what it does is it tests all those things I had mentioned, but a full panel of your thyroid. And it's also going to test, like if I'm looking at iron levels, I'm going to look at a full panel of markers for anemia. And so I'm not just going to look at the basics, I'm going to look more in depth. And so that's one. The other would be looking at the numbers, the range that we're going to compare it to. Because typically when you're looking at what we call pathological blood labs, what you're looking to see is someone has a disease or not. So if I look at, let's just use blood sugar as an example, the pathological number is probably anywhere between 70 and 110, maybe even a bit higher. It's not until you're at 126 that they even say you have diabetes. So we're going to look at a narrower range, okay? Because if I fell in that category of blood sugar where I was at 110, they would say, well, you don't have diabetes, but it is a bit high. Our numbers are 85 to 100, and I'm going to look to see, excuse me, I'm going to look to see if that person is above those numbers or below that number, and I'm going to see, okay, you don't have a disease, but you're not at your optimal function. And that's what's different, is we're going to look at numbers that are probably a lot more narrow, because we can look and see if someone's trending towards a certain health problem before, like years before it becomes an actual problem.
Another thing that I like about doing a blood lab that thorough is it actually starts finding things beyond just what normal value looks like. So we can look at blood sugar, but we can have other things that see, hey, how long has that blood sugar been up there?
Yeah, so you look at hemoglobin A1C. So the other thing that when you do more of an extensive panel like we're talking about, what you're going to see is you're gonna see patterns. So we're gonna measure a thing called LDH, which can give us a pattern as far as, and you see blood sugar off, and you look at the LDH, or you can look at cholesterol and thyroid together. They actually play a pretty big role together. You can look at protein levels and digestive health. You can look at those together. So the nice thing about those tests is it's looking at you from a whole. So yeah, we're a bunch of different systems. We have a cardiovascular system, we have a digestive system, we have a nervous system, but they all work together. And so you want to take a holistic approach at that blood lab as well. So it's a much different way that it gets interpreted than if you go to the doctor, and typically they're just going to flag high, low. That's it. They're not going to look at, well, this is high, let's look at these other numbers to see what else is going on. Not typically anyways, so. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else that you want to let everybody know of?
No, I think the last thing I want to mention about it is when someone does get a blood lab with us, if everything is in that normal, then we're not going to sit down and go over it with them really. We can just, I mean, that's good. But if there are some things, we're going to have that person come in and we're going to meet with them, and we're going to talk about what it is and what kind of interventions can be made. They're not going to get a phone call like, hey, there was a marker that's off, and we're going to set up an appointment and go over that. And that's actually included in the price of the lab as well.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, all right. If you want more information about the blood testing or the labs that we do here, you can click on the link below, and that also will include the prices as well. But other than that, Dr. Aaron, thank you, and
Absolutely.
God bless everyone.
And God bless.